Some were sentenced to death. Others were exiled to distant Siberian cities. The only fault of many was that they did not accept the Tsar's fashions or bowed down to foreigners. Among them was a relative of the voyevoda, and then his wife, along with her family, turned to the patriarch to intercede for the unfortunates. "You know perfectly well that I can do nothing," said the holy man Dash, "so my request will not help." However, the pleas and tears of his relatives moved the patriarch. He lifted the icon of Our Lady and went to the palace. The Tsar not only refused to listen to him, but simply angrily chased him out of the palace and into the street. The holy man, livid, returned to the monastery, locked himself in a cell, and wept bitterly, as the cell attendant told me. Danila Petrovich and the monk listened in astonishment. Varnava, as indignation grew more and more, his thin body trembled feverishly, his sunken eyes burned. Suddenly he straightened up, blind, unable to understand that, by daring to expel the Mother of God from his roof, he attracts misfortunes and divine curses upon himself, his home, and the entire Russian land. It was no coincidence that Grigory Talitsky, in his wise writings, The Gates, proves, by counting the years, that he, as the 8th Tsar, is the Antichrist himself, and that the end of times has arrived. Among the people it is also said, and the voice of the people is the voice of God, that in Moscow there is no longer a sovereign. What is there? Which Tsar is this? Our Tsars were not like that. A Russian Tsar identifies with his people. That is, he must be a guardian of orthodoxy and protect us from other, different beliefs. While this is not our sovereign, but a son of the fort. See how he wants to lead Orthodox Christians to profess other faiths. He orders tobacco, smoking, and German attire. Our ancestors, our grandfathers and fathers, never ordered caftans of this nature to be made. Once again the Tsar issues a nefarious and heretical decree, shaving. According to the scriptures, cutting or trimming the beard is forbidden to both priests and common people. The use of a beard is not a coincidence. The beard is a symbol of tradition, which differentiates one from other peoples. Thus I, a monk of ordinary origin, come to Moscow to discredit the Tsar for trusting in Germans, destroying ancient traditions and the Orthodox faith. Oh, Brother Varnava, you will answer for your insulting words against the monarchical honor. How can you, a humble servant of God, measure your strength against Tsar Peter? Danila Petrovich replied, pale, listening to him with a frown. So be it God, S will. I am willing to die for my country. I will accept martyrdom with joy. He fell silent, but after a few moments he stood up and, with unexpected strength, stretched his hands forward and took a few steps, as if mechanical. His flushed face became covered with cadaverous pallor. His bulging eyes stared at something invisible to the embarrassed bystanders. And Varnava began to speak in a broken, muffled, and altered voice. Oh! The curtain falls, and the times come unfold before me. I see how the seeds of evil he sows are germinating, taking deep roots that infiltrate like poison into the body of holy Russia. I see foreigners besieging the heart of our land, sucking it dry, crushing it, and mutilating it so that it withers. I also see the days of glory. The trumpets announce the victorious hymns, and the body of Russia swells and grows larger. The seed of evil also flourishes and suffocates the country. Everywhere, between the folds of the victorious banners, one sees the sarcastic faces of foreigners, mockingly devouring the fruits of victory. Then, the time will come when Satan himself will emerge from the maelstrom of evil, revealing himself in the light of day, and the diabolical forces will act. Horseless chariots will fly. The fiery horse of the apocalypse will rampage throughout the world, hissing, flashing, vomiting fire and smoke. Monsters will scatter through the air like insects. Satan loudly proclaims murder, mutiny, and looting. Men heed his abominable preaching and follow him, abandoning the temples of God. And this will happen. The time will come when the evil seed, sown profusely, will ripen and the bloody harvest will begin. Here, in this very capital, blood will flow in rivers. There will be fighting in the streets. Brother will rise against brother, and the burned houses will be left like charred skeletons. Fires, murders, and famine will flood the country like a flood. And people will wonder if the last days have not arrived, as they will see churches vandalized, priests beaten, holy icons desecrated, national flag trampled in the mud, and its glory tarnished by defeats. Sordid and sacrilegious hands, even dared to attack the crowns of monarchs, to eliminate them. The anchorite's voice suddenly broke off. His eyes closed. He staggered and would have fallen had he not been helped by the two boyars and Ilya, who listened in perplexity to his predictions. Varnava was unconscious and appeared dead. After futile attempt to revive him, the summoned servants lifted him and carried him to a private room. Gleb went to see how the old man was accommodated. The prince, left alone, sank into the armchair and covered his face with his hands. The divine spirit spoke through the old man. Even his voice was altered. "Oh, my poor country, what misfortunes will befall you? I thank you, my God, that I will not see all these infamies." 2. That part of the house overlooking the garden were the rooms of Elena, the prince's only daughter, which consisted of 2 bedrooms. One was for resting. The other, smaller, was a living room or for crafts, since there were the embroidery frames and baskets with skeins of silk and balls of silver and gold thread. While the room on the lower floor was a scene of that touching scene, and the old monk was making his dire predictions. 3 people were in the princess's chambers. One was the hostess herself, a charming young woman of about 17, slender and supple, with a wonderful complexion and large brown eyes. Her thick blonde hair, in braids, fell below her knees, with an embarrassed expression. She stood before a chair on which lay a German costume, a pink satin skirt embroidered with garlands and bouquets of roses, and a low, cut bodice with short sleeves and lace trim. Her anxious expression, reflecting a mixture of curiosity and hesitation, made a young man and a middle-aged woman laugh, who were sitting by the window, watching her. Elena blushed like a red pepper and turned to them. "Why are you laughing, Artemy? And you, Aunt Anya?" she asked, annoyed, moving the chair closer to sit next to them. His aunt was an obese woman, over 45. The foreign dress didn't suit her. The tight bodice pushed her ample bust forward too much. The enormous feathered hat and tight, high-heeled shoes didn't suit her bulky frame. But she didn't seem to notice her lack of taste, and her full, well-nourished face exuded self-confidence and satisfaction. "We laughed at your funny manner. You stare at your aunt's gift like a starving person wanting to eat a cake, afraid to touch it," Artemy said, continuing to laugh. "For you, laughing is easy. You dress as you please. Frequent the Tsar's palace. Go to homes of foreign nobles, while my father forbids me to wear such wonderful clothes," Elena complained. Anna Petrovna affectionately pinched her niece's cheek. "Don't despair, my little dove. This time you won't be locked up, and you'll join in the festivities." It's me speaking. To mark the arrival of the new year and the new century, we have 7 days of national celebrations. The Tsar and other dignitaries are preparing banquets and evening parties, and on January 1st the people will honor the sovereign. Fireworks will be lit, cannons will fire, and music will be played in the streets. It will all be great fun, and I won't allow you to miss out on these festivities. Tomorrow, Lenachka, you come spend a day with me, and I'll give you 2 more dresses like this one my friend Sina sewed. One white with silver details, the other blue, which you'll all have to try on. She'll do your hair and teach you how to dance the minuet, which you dance so beautifully. The day after tomorrow, some of my friends will come, and I want to introduce you to them. Give it to them. You'll have a great time. As far as I know, this is the first time you'll be attending real evenings and banquets. One of those that happened at Canada's house a few days ago, isn't it?" Artemy intervened. "Oh, how wonderful it was!" exclaimed Anna Petrovna. "Just think, Lenachka, the emperor himself, was at the wedding of the merchant Canada's daughter. I must add that it's a very cultured family, frequented by the Tsar. He even invited himself to be a sort of master of ceremonies, or best man, as we call it. He received the guests and served them. And how kind and attentive he was. We had such a good time. Oh, how I wish I could go to a party like that," sighed Elena, blushing and getting excited. Don't worry. For us women, confinement is over and freedom has arrived. You no longer need to be afraid to show your beauty, or ashamed to respond to your admirers. The barbarity of the Domestroy times is over forever, interjected Artemy. "Praise God," Anna Petrovna said. "As for your admirers and conquests, I'll tell you later. Go try on your new dress. I want to see how you look in it." Joyful, eyes shining, Elena kissed her aunt's soft hand and, picking up her skirt and bodice, disappeared into the adjoining room and locked the door. Lenotchka is simply charming. Oh, God, how I wish I could keep that poor girl from marrying that boorish, backward Gleb. I have a brilliant match for her, Anna Petrovna maintained. Artemis smiled mischievously. You rethinking of marrying her to the Baron of Dorfgame. Aren't you? What? You already know that? He must have confessed to you that he was crazy about her? Damn it, it's not hard to guess. He only talks about Elena, even though he's only seen her twice. True, he came to my house yesterday and begged me on bended knee to help him win her over. I, of course, promised to do so, because there's nothing better for Lenotchka than this noble and kind gentleman, a true nobleman. Only one thing will be difficult. Danila, he is so foolish and stubborn. I totally agree. Lemna will be Baroness of Dorfgame. Her father, fie! And a sneering smile twisted his face. Let him try to say no, and the Tsar will order him to say yes. And if he dares to go against the sovereign's will, he will make him see sense. Nowadays, one doesn't often talk to these kind of old fools like him, narrow-minded and obtuse, who rebel against the freedom and progress of our barbaric country. It's not enough to convince his father. We must remove Gleb Mihailovich. I've already taken certain steps to that end. At that moment, the door to the adjoining room opened, and Elena entered, dressed in her new skirt, which fit her incredibly well, outlining her slender, lean figure, accentuating the beauty of her torso and white arms. On her impressive face, the internal struggle that had previously embarrassed her was visible again. Behind her followed a middle-aged woman with an open, good-natured face, looking at the princess with a mixture of sadness and fear. My God! Don't tell me you, going to appear in that dress. Elena Danilovna? She exclaimed, raising her arms. Oh, Holy Mother! If the old princess had seen you naked, she would have died of shame. At the very least, she's turning in her grave, she added, wiping away her tears. Get out of here, you old fool. How dare you embarrass the princess with your foolish reprimands? She does what all women and girls do. If our mother were alive, she would then oppose the new customs. Get out, you fool, and do not meddle where you were not wanted. When the old nanny left, the brother and aunt quickly calmed the distraught young girl with their praise. Furthermore, Anna Petrovna, as enigmatic allusions to the mad passion fueled by a young and handsome nobleman, a true fairy tale prince, intrigued Elena so much that she could wait to attend one of her aunt's evenings, as long as her father would let her. I'll talk to Danila and ask for permission. I want to see him forbid my niece from going home, Anna Petrovna announced defiantly, saying goodbye to Elena and taking Artemis with her. After checking how the old man had been accommodated, Gleb returned to the living room, where Danila Petrovich, with a gloomy frown, was pacing back and forth. Well, how is the old man? He asked his godson. He has recovered, but he's very weak. I feel sorry for him. He's wasting away for nothing. Indeed. What can this poor fellow do against the Tsar, if not even the patriarch can? Well, it's different. After all, what kind of patriarch is this? He is very meek. He survives on breadcrumbs, keeps his mantilla and klobuk, and so he doesn't denounce the Tsar. As angry as Ivan Vasilyevich was when Metropolitan Philip met him in the Assumption Cathedral, When the Tsar approached the holy man in his clown's attire, the Metropolitan said, "I doan't recognize the Tsar in those attire, nor do I recognize his governance." The Reverend knew his holy office well. "Where's faith if I remain silent?" Meanwhile, the door flew open, and Anna Petrovna, a delightful smile on her face, strode into the room on her high heels. Noticing Gleb's presence, she frowned slightly and thought reluctantly, "What bad luck to run into that idiot. I'll have to invite him to the evening, too. I'll have to arrange a meeting with the Baron tomorrow. Good afternoon, brother." "Good afternoon, Gleb Mihailovich." The prince looked her up and down and laughed. "Oh, it's you, Anna Petrovna. I didn't recognize you. You put on that hideous hat and those ridiculous shoes. Aren't you ashamed, you old fool, of playing the clown at 45 and throwing money away on this rubbish?" The woman has gone completely mad. Shrugging his shoulders and addressing Gleb, he added, "Even dogs on leashes will be frightened by her." Despite the rouge and powder that covered Anna Petrovna's cheeks profusely, her blush was visible. Trembling with anger and shaking her fan, she turned to her brother. "Rude, ignorant man. He imagines himself a noble gentleman, while treating a lady like a rude peasant," she snapped. "I wouldn't have come to see you, nor would I have stopped by, if the matter hadn't concerned poor Elena, tyrannized and deprived of decent company. I simply can't bear it. The day after tomorrow, some of my friends are gathering at my house, and I want Elena to go too. I hope you won't be cruel, and forbid her from going to her aunt's house. Of course, I'd rather be considered cruel, but spare my poor daughter the honor of bowing her back before some foreign barber or tailor, and having to walk in the cold with bare arms. That would be terrible." The boyar jeered seriously. Anna Petrovna raised her arms. What blind and unheard of stubbornness! "I invite you too, Gleb Mihailovich, to my house the day after tomorrow. You will see for yourself how distorted and insulting all this foolish talk is." "Thank you, Anna Petrovna," Gleb said calmly, bowing. "If my bride goes, I will go too, without fail. Come, Elena will be there. Understand, dear brother, your children must go out into society. The fact that you openly express your discontent, withdraw from the court, and repudiate all foreign customs today is very dangerous. I'm too old to submit to all these fads. Thank God, my Artemy has become Europeanized for both of us and walks like a clown in his torn caftan, with a clean-shaven face, like a eunuch. You, my dear, have led him so astray that he has forgotten that he is Russian. He hasn't forgotten anything. He simply understands and values progress, appreciates elegance and good manners. You've become so brutalized and outdated that he is afraid to tell you everything. I bet the poor guy didn't tell you he was madly in love with a foreigner's daughter, a beautiful girl, whom he could marry because it is accepted. She fell silent when she saw Danila Petrovich turn pale. Suddenly he struck the table with his fist, knocking the jug with the glasses onto the floor. "But I won't accept it," he shouted beside himself. "Artemy will never marry that adventuress, who will always despise him and consider him almost a smeared. He is Russian, and he will marry a Russian. Otherwise, I will disinherit him, and his share will be distributed among the monasteries. Do you understand? And stop arranging these marriages for him. You matchmaker. You idiot. You, bring us to our doom. I know the Tsar is furious with you," Anna Petrovna retorted angrily. She turned furiously, tried to leave quickly, but the sudden turn of her body on her high heels failed. She lost her balance and would have fallen, had it not been for Gleb, who had held her in the meantime. "Calm down, Anna Petrovna, and don't anger your brother with Artemy's marriage," Gleb tried to persuade. "Because of your follies, you will end up falling into—" Opal Anna Petrovna retorted furiously. She shook off Gleb's hand and floated toward the door, giving him a haughty, contemptuous look in farewell. This time she treaded carefully. 3. Anna Petrovna's house was on the other side of the city, like her brother's house. It was built half of brick, half of wood, in an old Russian style. From the outside, the building preserved its original appearance, but inside, the effort to modernize the spaces was visible, and this effort was particularly evident in the living room's European-style furniture. So the central wall was knocked down to make way for the 2 bedrooms, creating a spacious living room. The dining room was the same. The furniture had a modern look, much to the owner's great satisfaction. However, her medium-sized boudoir was located next to the ballroom. The house could not be completely rebuilt. The low vaulted ceilings were decorated with artistic paintings. In deep recesses were narrow, mullioned windows, but from the vault hung a chandelier with wax and oil candles, and the walls were covered with silk fabric embroidered with roses, alternating with blue ribbons. The white furniture with gold details was covered in the same fabric, and the windows and doors were decorated with curtains and draperies surrounded by bronze cupids in the style of Louis XV. An evolved artistic taste would have been shocked by such a mixture of contrasting and misshapen elements. But Anna Petrovna did not realize this, and was dazzled by the decoration that had just been made.